Welcome to the Imagine Not Being Leeds.
Imagine not being Leeds, not feeling this pain, not dancing through thunder, not walking through rain. Imagine not rising with fists in the air when the world turned its back and no one would care. We've lived in the ashes, we've drowned in defeat, but still we stand proud on our battered old feet. Imagine not loving with all that you are. Imagine not being Leeds.
We love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.
We do love you, Leeds, Leeds, Leeds. Now then, everybody, welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds. Early finish Friday, which is banging, and then I got home just in time for a press conference, and I've got about an hour till the school run. So I thought, what the heck? Why don't I jump on and do a bit of a reaction to the press conference? I was going to do a bit of a pre-record, but thought I'd jump on a bit of a live, and we'll have a little discussion. I've made a few notes, so we'll get stuck into it. Let's just see who's in the house so far. Hope everyone's had a great week, by the way. Yeah, late night Leeds tonight. Make sure you're back for that 10 o'clock. Going live during the day. Do you ever do any work? You know I do, Mike. You know I'm a very hard-working man. Danny Rums, hey up, mate. With NMECHA not back, don't think he plays a 3-5-2. Or the 5-3-2. Depends what side you look at it, but yeah. Yeah, I tend to agree, mate. But we'll get into the nuts and bolts of what got said. And yeah, that is pretty much all anyone really cared about. Danny was NMECHA, who's gone from being a bit of a bit part player, free transfer. No one really asked about the signing. I definitely bigged him up at the start of the season, and I'm sort of being proved right that he's a good player. Very important player for us now. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, the system change, the formation change has now propelled him up the pecking order. And now, you know, as a player, maybe a week or two ago, we weren't being too bothered about him missing the odd game. Now it seems like he holds the key to the 3-5-2 being a thing. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how long he's out for, and we'll get into what Farke said about NMECHA. But yeah, he got asked first and foremost, have the results convinced you that we can now stay in the league? And it was like, no, I already believe we can stay. When he said no at first, I'm like, oh, no. Yeah, we always believe, and obviously we move on now, and it's a case of it's an important game Sunday, but the belief's always been there, which we know with Farke. You know, as a manager, he's got to come out and say that regardless, Annie. But I do believe that Farke's never really lack in self-belief. He stuck to his principles a long time, and it's sort of aggravated a lot of the fan base. But the tweak and the changes made in those last 3 games last week were monumental in getting the 4 points out of those 9 available. And like I say, I think even before them, even if we'd have been beating those 3 games, I think Farke would have still been fairly convinced, had he remained in the job, that he would have meant to guide us there. He's a very confident bloke. He's definitely confident in his ability. I now think with the tactical tweaks he's done, it gives the fan base a bit more sort of belief in him and his methods and the squad, because I think we've been a bit torn as a fan base whether the squad's actually good enough. I think when you combine a squad that, you know, hasn't had loads of money spent on it compared to our rivals, and a manager that's never really done it in Premier League, we were all nervous about whether we can stay in the division. But like I say, Farke's never really had that a self-belief issue, really. He's always sort of backed his methods and this side to stay up. Has there been any conversations with the owners about your position? Very quick answer with this one: no conversations, which I didn't expect there to be honest. There were a meeting, I think, a few weeks back, wasn't there, when we heard that, you know, there were a meeting going on at Ellen Road. Whether we were in that meeting, whether, you know, got said about his sort of future, I'm not too sure, but there will have been conversations going on maybe without Farke being there. But he's answered his critics, hasn't he? And I did a video a few days ago about him always feeling like he's on probation. Whether that's actually an internal thing and he feels that way, I'm not too sure. But I think as fans, we're always thinking a couple of bad results and he could be sort of on his way. But yeah, he's had no conversations about his position. And long may that continue. We know if Leeds are doing well, then Farke stays his job and fair play, regardless of any sort of worries we have going forward. I'm very much, you know, it's a short term for us currently as a club for me. And as long as we keep picking up points and keep seeing sort of like tweaks and changes, what need to happen game by game, which I hope he takes into Brentford too, and we can see whatever we face with Farke has the answers for, and the boys have, you know, the answers for too, and long may that continue. Speaking on Brentford, he obviously touched on the home record, fantastic home record Brentford have, and he doesn't expect an easy game. And they're beating obviously some really top teams there. They're beating, I'm going to say scum them, but we will put them down as a top team. But they're beating some top teams: Newcastle, Liverpool, drawn against Chelsea. They've scored plenty of goals at the Lego Stadium. So we know they're going to be a threat. More than 2 goals a game they score at Brentford, and obviously he definitely watched Liverpool on how good Brentford are, and it won't be an easy game. And what's been the key to getting the message across with the new formation? And he says it all the time. He's not married to a base formation. It's all about how we apply ourselves and stick to our principles and beliefs. So I don't know if I go along with this. I do think the formation change has been a massive reason we picked up those 4 points. And I know the formation change, the 3-5-2 worked at Chelsea, didn't work in the first half against Liverpool. But he keeps talking about, the base formation not really being too important. I have to disagree. I do think it's been a massive improvement. And I understand what it means where, you've got to stick to your principles and beliefs. And regardless of formation, if you don't turn up on the day and apply yourself and play with the right mentality, then you won't pick up points regardless of that base formation. But there is formations that, are better suited for the caliber of play you've got and the stylistic sort of elements of that makeup of that side. And I definitely look at that sort of formation going forward and think, yeah, it didn't work against Liverpool and he changed it, which was brilliant. But I do think it is a formation, if the personnel's available, that could see us, stay in the division with that as our base formation. I really, really like us in that shape. I think it's really good. And it's no slight on us as a side, just for it not to work against Liverpool. And you could say, we're 0-0. Well, maybe it was working that first 45 minutes. And it was only 2 individual errors that led to their goals. Just after half time, again, a mentality switch as well. We try to switch on and stay focused in those early exchanges at the start of half, which is a massive problem with Leeds United. But I don't think the 3-5-2 didn't work against Liverpool. We didn't score against them in that system. We had to change it to get the 3 goals later in the game, which I did love that tweak going back to a 4-2-3-1, a 4-3-3. I like that adaptability and flexibility showing lately. But the base formation is important. I do think the 3-5-2 suits us. Let's get into some of these comments. Please like and subscribe for Matty. Cheers, Matt. Yeah, please smash a like on the video if you don't mind. It gets out to more people. And please subscribe if you're not already. Poets Day, Matty. Piss off early tomorrow Saturday. Yeah, man. Hey up, Sean. Madman Matty. We played 3-5-2 versus Liverpool with Okafor up top. We did, mate. I wonder if we'll play that again. We'll have to see, won't we? Smash a like and subscribe. Cheers, Danny boy. Hey up, Tezza. Hey up, Chris. Hey up, Tony. Late Night Leeds tonight, Tony. 100%. We are back for Late Night Leeds tonight. Make sure you're back. Of the options to play with DCL, if he is playing 2 up front for me, we should try Nonto. I would like to see Nonto have a go up there, but I don't think he'll go with that. What's the crack? No, NMECHA. That's the main crack, Andy. That is the main crack. Cheers, my mate. Smash a like. Please do. Cheers, buddy. Bring out Gray. Give him a go. Nothing to lose. I don't think that's going to happen, mate. But yeah, his name is Matty. Hey up, buddy. He played 3-5-2 first half, but played 5 at the back, defensive. Could you play not up? Yeah, I think you could, David. I think you could play not up top. I think you could play a similar role to Okafor, just off a striker. It depends how much, when you look at that 3-5-2, it gives you that extra centre half. I think the midfield look really good. The wing backs play really well. I think we've got 2 cracking wing backs for that formation. But the front 2 is massively important. And it's whether you think you're going to get the same sort of impact with them 2 up top that you may want to sacrifice one of the strikers to get 2 wingers on the pitch and play a little bit differently. I mean, I'm not too concerned because of what we've seen with Farke. If he does start something against Brentford on Sunday and it's not working, we've seen that flexibility now where if he gets it wrong, I don't feel like that stubborn streak's been there. He's a small sample size, don't get me wrong, but you hope that stubborn streak that's seen him stick to stuff and be wedded to stuff even when it's not working, he's staring everybody in the face bar Farke. It looks now like he'll change it. So if he starts with a 4-3-3, I'd understand it. We're not having NMECHA. There's an argument that the 3-5-2 is better with NMECHA. I think everyone would agree with that. Does that mean it won't work without NMECHA? No, it doesn't. There's Pirro, there's Nonto, there's Okafor. Okafor played really well in that system against Chelsea when he came on. So there is, a lot of pros to that sort of system without NMECHA. I think we're more effective with NMECHA. I think the 2 big men up top works better than the big man, little man in this system for us. I think we can bully defenders. With Nonto, with Okafor, that won't happen, but they do offer you something different. If Calvert-Lewin can get the better of his of his centre half is up against, and he can win balls. If you've got someone nippy like a Nonto or Okafor who can run in behind, who do shoot on site as well, it does offer you a different threat. But yeah, I mean, I'm sort of thinking leaning into him changing formation now. Now I know NMECHA's out. I said it in my preview video that I think if NMECHA's out, he may go to a 4-3-3. Whether that's Nonto on the right, Aronson on the right, I'm not too sure. But like he says, he's not wedded to a sort of base formation. As long as the boys turn up with the right attitude, there's a chance regardless of formation. The massive high we've had recently, the last week, the momentum they can take through with that. I massively look at the base formation and think it's going to massively hamper us in this. It's in London. Brentford are quality at home. We've only won one away game all season. They've only lost one at home. It's more about mentality and being switched on for 90 minutes. And I think regardless of formation or lineup, if we go and put our best foot forward and we give it everything we've got enough to beat them. So, yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. Yeah, agree, Matty. From my view on Saturday, the 3-5-2 worked okay at Liverpool. It was conceding stupid. Yeah, it was, mate. Like I say, it's easy to look at the start of that second half and go, well, we're still playing in 3-5-2 and we conceded 2 goals. Then he changed it and we improved. And that's fine. The 3-5-2 won't work every single week. We won't be leading the game at any point just because we're playing a 3-5-2. But first half, we limited Liverpool to a couple of long pop shots. I think one hit the bar, one clipped the post. That's having the ball, but not really being able to create much and getting behind us, which is brilliant. Letting Liverpool play in front of us is absolutely fine by me. And they have obviously world-class talent. So the fact that we didn't score in that system, we may have scored later on in the game, had the game carried on 0-0, we'll never know now. But ultimately, the fact that it changed from it, because what I wouldn't want to do is think all of a sudden the 3-5-2 is the answer and Farke play 3-5-2 to the end of the season when it's not working, keep playing it like he did with 4-3-3 for a long time, like he did playing Melier for a long time, Aronson for a long time. He gets in these sort of ways where even when it isn't working, he keeps playing it. The fact that he changed it when he saw it wasn't working, just after half-time, I need to change something to change the flow of this game. He did it, and that's great. So if the 3-5-2 doesn't work at Brentford, we can take, decent sort of pride knowing that he will change it if needed. Afternoon, David. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're good. We need to stop listening to classical music at half-time. It sends us to sleep. Yeah, Justin, I hope you're good, mate. Sembo now up top. He'd win some chuffing headers, wouldn't he? He can't go back to 4-3-3 after the last few games. Yeah, but the 4-3-3, the 4-2-3-1, he may well do that, mate. He may well do that. Like I say, he played those. He sort of the side were definitely a 4-2-3-1 and a 4-3-3 at times when we score 3 against Liverpool. So I aren't going to stress too much about the formation, mate. I'd love to see a 3-5-2 or 5-3-2, whichever way you want to say it. But like I say, I don't think that's the most important element of this game. I think we just need to go to London with the right attitude. I do think the 3-5-2 is the best one going forward, but without NMECHA, I am leaning to he may change it. Not saying that's what I want. I'd probably rather see an Okafor and Nonto Piro up top with Calvert-Lewin. I had to ask which one it is. It would always be NMECHA if I had the option. The fact he's missing does slightly change things for me. So yeah, we'll have to see. But like I say, we've got options. I feel like I've got options now. TalkSport pointed out this morning that we have lost our last 9 games in London. I wasn't sure what the actual stat was, David, but I couldn't tell you the last time we won in London. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I'm actually surprised it's not double figures. Will it be double figures come end of weekend? Let's hope not. It's definitely. I mean, I don't like the hoodoo thing because each season you've got new players. Some of those 9 games might be, it might date back to where there's hardly anyone played in those 9 games, depending on how long stretch goes on for. So I don't like reading too much into that, but we've had loads of hoodoos. We can't play in a certain kit. We can't play in London. We can't do early kickoffs. And it does become a bit of a thing, more for fans, I think, than the players. But let's hope so anyway, because it is a hoodoo we really need to break, because a lot of trips to London in Premier League, and it needs to be somewhere we pick up points. And these are only a point in front of us if we beat them. So it's a great 6-pointer for me. It really feels like a 6-pointer. Let's be fair. We all thought Brentford would be in and around us, in and around those relegation spots. We all did. Unless you thought Leeds were going to fly high, and they were going to be. I don't think anyone thought they beat us, they'll go even further in front, and they're creating a bit of a gap then. And it'd be lovely to drag them into it. You've got Fulham in it, West Ham, Forest. We need as many sides in that mix as possible to give us the best chance. Clem, hi Matty from snowy New Hampshire. I'm going 0-2 Leeds. Hey up, Clem. Hope you're well, buddy. Love the optimism, mate. I love it. Hope you're doing well over there, mate. It's not going to be easy at Brentford tomorrow. I feel like the 3-5-2 is going to be kept, but with someone playing off him. Yeah, maybe Gangeen, maybe. Actually, I would like to see that, but I couldn't really profess to say for the first time in a long time what that lineup's going to be and what that formation's going to be. He isn't going to give much away in the press, as obviously he hasn't. We know NMECHA's not playing, and that's great news for Brentford. Brentford have a few missing too, though, so I'll give Bourne now. He looks well when he's been on. Yeah, I mean that corner we scored from against Liverpool, Justin. He made it, the run he makes and he occupies people, and that ball probably don't even fall to Tanaka if Bourne's not in the mix there. So yeah, he does a lot of in that moment there. He did a really unselfish run and occupied a couple of people. And when you've got another 6'5" body in the box, he's always going to create havoc. And that's the main thing I sort of take going forward. I want Leeds to create chaos and havoc and just make every game, hard work for the opposition side. So many times so far this season, lads, it's been so easy to score against Leeds United. And we're still conceding goals now, don't get me wrong, but the way we're playing, we feel like we can win now, even if we concede 2. And we haven't seen that this season. We haven't really seen that under Farke. We saw it under Marcelo, and it was brilliant football and a different style, granted. But going back at, 3-4 games, if we concede a goal or 2, we aren't winning that game. We can concede 1 or 2 now and still score 3. So that's how I feel now. 8 goals in the last 3 games against arguably the most expensive and talented squads in the Premier League gives us confidence as fan base. It'll give Farke a quiet confidence. It'll definitely give that dressing room a right shot in the arm going to London. And if there's ever a time to go to London and get a result, it's these. We're buoyant, a win and a draw in his last 2 against top opposition, and they're on back of 2 defeats. Granted, it hasn't changed the momentum at home this season. When they've had away defeats, they've gone back to the Lego Stadium and they've won. So that isn't too much to cling on to, but I'm going to cling on to everything I can. I'm going to cling on to everything I can as a Leeds fan. If he doesn't lose, Farke will be back to square. Yeah, I'm not too sure on this one, mate. I think if he does go back to a 4-3-3 and we lose this game, depends how we play. If we go back to a 4-3-3 with Aronson on the right and we look really slow, methodical, slow build up, possession for possession's sake, and we don't create now, and we go from scoring 3 goals a game to having less than 3 shots on goal, and that becomes a problem. You look at that and you go, it's like being at Forest again and Burnley again, the ball and not creating much. We could lose this game and still play. We could play well, Sean, and still lose this game. These are no mugs. They've got their striker, their talisman's on 11 goals. They've got goal scorers. They've got creative players in Damsgaard. They've got a really Shard's out, which is a great thing for Leeds United because he's probably their most talented flair player. Creates a lot of good chances, but they have great players. They're a great side at home, especially. This were at Ellen Road, I'd be tipping us to put 3 or 4 past them at the minute, and I still think we can score quite a few goals in this game. They can be got at. But they score a lot of goals themselves. So I'm actually expecting. I've seen a lot of people saying it'll be a tight game, maybe 0-0, 1-0 either way. I actually think there'll be goals in it. I predicted 2-2 on my preview yesterday that I put out this morning. I put out last night. I actually think now, even though NMECHA's out, which is weird, I always do this as the game gets closer, I get more confident. I actually think we're going to see a 3-2 Leeds. I think we're going to concede a couple, and it's going to that narrative I've just pushed there of we can outscore an opponent now. Even if they score a couple of goals, I'm actually going to change it to 3-2. I actually think Leeds win 3-2, which will just be an absolute classic. Afternoon, buddy. How you doing, Callum? Afternoon, pal. The fact we don't know what he's going to do shows that he can be versatile at a point. Would be brilliant considering they have got 0.6 in 7 at home. Yeah, 100%. The unpredictability and the versatile side of Farke we've never seen and never thought we'd see at Leeds United is going to prove a problem for other sides managers. It just is. It's going to prove, a massive problem for them. A long way to continue. We need to see him take that into these games now. I've said it multiple times this week. It's hard to play in the games we've played in terms of against decent opposition, but it's easy to get up for those games. So easy to get up for them games. It's been really easy for me, for Daniel Farke, to be brave and change things because he had no option. It was stick with this and I'm sacked, stick with this and we've lost, stick with this, we go down. So for me, really easy to change something and be brave when you've got no option. Hit and hope, let's have a go. And he changed it and it worked at City. Then after that, it's just been a snowball effect. Can we continue this positive momentum with the versatility shown? Let's hope so. Let's hope so. It's a lot harder to get up for Brentford away for me than it is at Chelsea at home or Liverpool at home. They're the easy ones to get up for. They're the non-negotiable. They're so easy as a footballer, as a football fan to sort of get up for. Mecha, this is our recruitment falling short again. I'd play Willie up there with him, not Okafor. Willie's used to playing off being centre forward. Yeah, I mean, I think that'd work. I'd love to see him up there with it as a 2. So, I mean, recruitment falling short again. I'm not sure I agree with that. I probably get where you're coming from in terms of we lose a striker and then what? You know, we're having to rely on putting some, square peg round hole or willing on to what an Okafor or playing a Pirro. But for me, we notoriously play a one up top. Most people in the English pyramid do. It's just the way modern football is one up top. We've gone to 2 and we've lost one of them. So we do look short of bodies now because we've switched to 2, Did we ever envisage them playing 2 up top when we were in the summer? Probably not. When we were building this squad, probably not. It's great. It's an option. It's great we can do it. But I aren't going to hammer the recruitment too much. I mean, we did know NMECHA, his injury record were poor. There's Okafor, DCL. We've definitely gambled. So the recruitment, we've gambled on a lot of these players. But so far, so good. NMECHA's going to have odd knock. He's going to be out for a game or 2. It's not season defining, I don't think. Touch wood, DCL stays fit. I mean, if you lose DCL, Okafor and NMECHA all in one go, then we are struggling because they are the 3 we've really gambled on. But so far, so good. We've managed the lads well. And there's a bit of rotation being shown now. But I do think the fact that we went in the season playing 1 up top, the fact now we're playing 2, this were always probably likely to happen. One of them we're going to break down. And then the question is, do we go back to 1 up top? Or do we stick with a 2 and have to play somebody else in there who maybe may suit that role, but isn't predominantly known as that sort of player? And Joel Pirro this week, now knowing NMECHA will be out all week, he'll have been training for it. He'll have a right shot in arm with Joel Pirro because maybe this is Pirro's time, Maybe Pirro can start this game. I'm not saying he will. I don't think he does. If I'm honest, he may go with Okafor again. It may be Nonto. He may not. He may just play DCL on his own. But if they do play DCL on his own up top, then it's fundamental that they get bodies around him. There's no point playing a 4-3-3, a 4-2-3-1, whatever, going direct and not being brave off the ball. You've got to get close to DCL. We can still play well. It doesn't have to be a 3-5-2. It doesn't have to be. And part of me now, as much as I want to see that formation, part of me wants us to play a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 and show, the footballing world, show us fans, show everybody that it's more about how the attitude of the players than just the formation, even though I think the formation does suit us better as a 3-5-2. It would be great, wouldn't it, again, if we get shocked again and we play, even if we were back to 4-3-3 and we go and absolutely slap it up with a great performance and come away with 3 points from London. Brilliant. Again, it'd just add to that unpredictability where, regardless of what system we play, if Leeds United are on it, you're in for a tough game. And I'd love that. I'd absolutely love that. Willie and DCL, not Okafor. Yeah, I mean, that's what most people are saying, so I could see it. Hey up, Matty and all. Hey up, Stripper up. You well, buddy. How about Pirro? Yeah, I mean, with Pirro, I think this is his role, So I think as one of 2 up top, I think this is his chance to shine if he gets given the nod. I do think, in his Leeds career, he does drop deep at times. He's played in the 10 for Leeds United. I think just off the shoulder of a DCL, it could work. He's not the paciest player, but he's a classy player and he's a finisher. He's Pirro. And if DCL can do that sort of dirty work and do that sort of tough side of the game, maybe it opens up a few little chances for Joel Pirro. And for me, he will put his chances away if he's got them, even regardless of the step up in level for him. And if he isn't going to get games in this system now, if we play a 2 up top for the next 4 or 5 games, I think at some point in January you have to ask the question: Do we offload a Joel Pirro and bring somebody else in who can play that system? Want to see Okafor do more very close against Luke. Yeah, I mean, I think he's a frustrating player as Okafor, Callum, because we know the talent. We know the talent and how good he is. And he's a flair player. He's quick. He's got step overs. He can go left. He can go right. He's got a shot on him. And he's physical. He's physically imposing. And for a winger, that don't happen. For a winger, you don't see that very often. So the fact he's got that physical side to him as well as the ball playing capabilities, I think the expectations are very, very high. And we've had some good wingers at Leeds over the years, whether it's Rafinha, Somerville, Solomon. We've had some great flair plays, even Rutten in central spaces. And we look at him, don't we, like, to be that player, take the mantle and you'll be that guy. And I think in this system, he's probably going to find himself on the bench most weeks if we carry on with this system. But what a great impact player. But 100%, he needs to do more. I think he needs to work a little bit harder off the ball. Not much. I think it's had a bit of stick, really, for not giving Goodmanson too much help. A lot of goals have come down from that left-hand side. but a little bit harder off the ball. But his talent with the ball's never in question for me. But 2 goals this season, started quite well. I think he's gone off it a little bit, albeit he got an assist, did he, against Chelsea? If he didn't get an assist because he come off the goalkeeper, it's shocking because without that, it's not a goal, which I think he's got that in the locker. You know, that sort of explosive pace over 10 yards. He can panic a defender, he can panic a goalkeeper. And yeah, he did that. Just keep smashing them likes. Cheers, buddy. Good morning. Hey up, buddy. Hope you're well. I'm thinking 3-2 or 2-1 Leeds. I think going back to a 4-3-3 might benefit first half. Take a lead, revert to. Yeah, I like that too. It's mad because I really reluctantly don't want to say go 4-3-3 because I love the 3-5-2. But yeah, we might have to do something like that. He got asked as well, did Farke, about DCL and got asked if he'd been surprised by how DCL and his good form. And he says no. He's followed his career. He said this many times on DCL as Farke. He's followed his career. All the way throughout, 250 Premier League appearances and 60 plus goals. The key with DCL is that he stays fit and keep his confidence at a high, and we keep playing to his strengths. And that's what we think as a fan base. And we think, you know, early on when he first came in, I think he was doing okay, missed a fair few big chances, but he was very isolated and those chances fell to him. And when he missed them, you know, it made him look a bit of a poor signing to some. Missed a penalty in the cup and a little bit worried about whether he was going to be that guy. But I think as you've seen, the match fitness and the match sharpness come to DCL. The fact that I think he's got a boss there that definitely believes in him, which is, you know, a main thing. He's got, you know, 37,000 fans at Ellen Road who all believe in him now. I think we've seen his qualities. Yeah, he isn't going to, you know, put every chance away DCL, but he's so much more than that. He's already on 4 goals too. So keeping him fit, keeping his confidence high is vital for DCL, and long may that continue. He was asked also about whether he thinks he can get an England call-up. Apparently, there's been some murmurs of potentially being an England call-up, and could he be second in command to Harry Kane? I haven't heard any of these rumblings, but I do think he's good enough to play for England again. He's got 12 caps already, a couple of goals. And he says, oh, anything's possible, although, you know, he doesn't really think about that. It's up to Thomas Tuchel. But if he's fit, it'll take care of itself, basically. So, yeah, I don't know if anyone else has heard about an England call-up or if it's just a general sort of generalisation of he's played for England before. Maybe he can get back in there. But, yeah, he also got asked, has this week been professionally rewarding for you? And says, no, you don't have the time to relax and think about it. I am always thinking about the next game. I'm in a great mood. Obviously, after the great week, great mood in camp, but totally focused on Brentford. And again, just a really professional answer, really. It's going to be buoyant. It's going to be bouncing into training. The boys will have all bounced into training this week. But fundamentally, it's all about Brentford. It's all about the next game. The games come thick and fast. Yeah, we'll have had 8 days to sort of prep for Brentford and look forward to it. Definitely been a couple of days there where, you know, they'll have been buzzing in training, like I say, but very quickly in professional sport, the money that's involved, the pressure that's involved, it just gets switched very quickly to the next game. And yeah, a very professional answer. If I were Farke, if I were a manager of Leeds United, my press conferences would be a lot more humorous than these are, because I'm still buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing with that last week. Yeah, it's just unreal. And for it to happen at Ellen Road, both games as well, it's fair play. So obviously, he got asked about Lucas NMECHA, rather than just speaking about injuries in general. He got asked about NMECHA directly. And he said, Lucas is definitely missing. Hopefully back for Palace, but he's not yet back in full team training, which is the main thing. He's only doing solo training at the minute, training alone. So he's not going to be considered for team action until he's back in a full week of full team training. So hopefully he gets back into that early next week and we can see him against Palace, because Palace at home, it's a tough game. Palace are so good. They've got one of the best. I think they are best away record as well, the Palace. So it's a game we really would rather have as strongest players in. And now NMECHA falls in that category. So hopefully he can play some part next week. But obviously, he does go on to say it gives others a chance, and we don't feel sorry for ourselves. You know, we are top of the injury list as well in the Premier League in terms of the most injuries, and we've had a lot of key personnel injured as well. You know, which at times I think we should have reverted to the 3-5-2 in some of these games. Burnley away springs to mind as well. Sean Ely, Pido, you say, Matty, his 15 goals I predicted could be back on. No, it won't be. No chances of getting that. No chance. Knew we was going to get up for the big teams we always play. Yeah, that's it, Justin. That's it. Like I say, it's so easy to get up for the week we've just had. And now it's a trip to the Lego Stadium. They need to show that same intensity because no matter who it is you play, and I understand the emotion in playing certain teams and getting up for certain games. I get that. I'm not an idiot. Well, I am, but I get it. But it's the same amount of points on offer regardless of who you're playing. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters at the end of the day. So they've got to get up for the Brentford away just as much as they do with Chelsea and the Liverpool at home. Yeah, Rocky Medic, honestly, it's been a massive bugbear of mine lately. I mean, if we win 3-2, great. But we need to try and stop conceding silly goals. A lot of individual errors this season have led to goals. A hell of a lot, to be fair. I don't know what start off by am, but a lot of the goals we've conceded have been individual errors. And that switching on at crucial times, it needs to be worked on. Like I say, I do believe if at the minute, even if we concede 1 or 2, we can still win the game because the confidence we've got in now scoring so many goals against these top sides. But yeah, give yourself such more of a chance to take 3 points, let alone a draw, if you can keep a clean sheet. The way it's going at the minute, I don't know where the next clean sheet's coming from. I aren't going to lie. Palace score goals away from home. Brentford scored a ton of goals at home. So it's going to be tough looking at these fixtures. Then you can imagine Sunderland, it's around Christmas time. Sunderland are confident regardless of AFCON players and stuff. That could be a bit of a humdinger game. That could be plenty of goals in there, end-to-end stuff. And then we've got Scum to come as well in New Year. So, and Liverpool again. So plenty of big games coming up. Plenty of goals, I think. I can see it's. I don't know when the next clean sheet's coming, really, is what I'm trying to say, Rocky Medic. Hopefully it comes soon, though. Hey up, Mickey and JT, says Mark. Jamie Law, board recruited, poorly still. Should have signed another striker in the January window. We kept Pirot and Farke. Hey, all right. Farke clearly doesn't fancy at Prem level. Yeah, I mean, if Farke didn't fancy Pirot in the summer, should have sold him then, because all you're doing is depreciating his value, sitting on the bench, not getting minutes now. I kind of thought he'd be part of the plans. I suppose he is part of some plans. He's on the bench, he's in the squad every week, but I do look at it and think, could we have made a bit of money on him and improve the squad even more? Like I say, I didn't think we switched to a 2, Jamie, so I was quite happy having DCL and NMECHA as that, 1 and 2 with Pirot as well as that third option. But as time's gone on, and it's looked very unlikely Pirot's going to be part or a main part of this squad, and now we're playing 2 up top. We are a body light now. We are. You could even say playing a back 3 or a back 5, however you view it, that extra centre half. You could say with a body like there now. We've only really got Bourne now, who keeps breaking down, and then we're relying on Ampadu slotting in there. So by adding a centre half and a centre forward into our match day squad, which is what in effect what we've done by dropping 2 wingers, is now a conversation of, do we need another centre forward in January? Do we need another centre half in January? Potentially, I'm not saying we do, but there's scope for that when you think of the radical change in system. Whereas before the season, I thought Pirot, NMECHA and DCL were fine, only starting with 1 striker. But that's now changed. Hey up, Michael. Hope you're good, mate. 70 people watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate that. Doing a quick sporadic live, which you don't normally do through the day, but please smash a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. And please smash that subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you very much. Andy says how he plays and lines up the team this week could be decisive for him. He's not off the hook. Andy, yeah, I agree. It's such a small sample size of improvement in it. It's span over 2.5, 3 games, I suppose, but it is still only a really good 7 days. 100%. I mean, if we lose to Brentford and play poorly, Andy, especially if he reverts back to the 4-3-3, which he may well do, then we get beat by Palace, which is highly likely could happen. Both of those outcomes are very likely. It's probably more likely we go to London on Sunday and we're on a bit of a come down from that massive high, and maybe we just fall short. Maybe we haven't got those reserves to call upon, emotionally and physically to call upon to get us over that line. And then you play Palace at home, who are absolutely phenomenal this season. They've got a great manager who's one of the top managers in the Premier League for me, and we'll go on to bigger and better things than Palace. What I will say is the side we're playing in Brentford on Sunday, they've got a couple of players out of injury. They've got Shards out suspended. I do think we can get at them if we maintain our levels. That's the big thing. Can we, regardless of how good they are at home, if we keep our levels and our discipline to that level we've seen the last 2 games, then we can win this game. And then you look at Palace, and with them in Europe and all these cup competitions, I think they're having to rotate 11 players, and there's a massive chance there as well, just based on the fact they're playing in Europe midweek and stuff. So that does help us. But on the face of it, we're playing the 4th best home side in the division, and then next week we're playing the best away side in the division. So it's a tough gig, but 100%, he's not off the hook yet, Andy. But for me, we need points. It's all about points, I suppose. But I want to see, it's a performance I'm really interested to see what the formation and lineup is, and see how the performance reflects that as well, to see if they're still in synergy. Because for the last 2.5 games, manager, players, fans, we've all been aligned, and it's worked really well. And something that's not been aligned is that opposition manager in dugout not really having a clue what Leeds United are going to do and when they're going to do it. And I fucking love that. And long may that continue. Off topic here. Anyone know what's happened to YouTube Live? They used to stay Time Alive has been on, and now it's gone missing on my Android. Are you on about like notifying you? I've had that a few times, not notifying me that I'm people are live and stuff. I'm not too sure. It does this from time to time, Michael. It goes off on a bit of a tangent and really makes it tough for us doing this, because not many people know we're on when we're on. But I mean, for me, this is just I'm not normally on at this time, and I only set this 20 minutes before I went live. So yeah, we just need to show unity and strength and work hard for each other. Yeah, we do, mate. That fundamentally, regardless of base formation, has to be the catalyst for the rest of the season. It really does. He got asked as well about the goals that they're conceding just after half time. We've conceded 5 goals at the start of the second half of the season. How do we sort that? Obviously, 2 came against Liverpool, but it's not even just at the start of half time that they mentioned that we've conceded late goals. We've conceded goals very quickly after we've scored 2. And he basically just said, we are aware and we are working hard to improve this. And that's a key area for me. The discipline of, that small detail of when you've scored a goal and you're massively high and elated, trying to quickly focus and move on to, the game's back playing. We saw it at Forest. We've seen it, I think, 2 or 3 times this season. We've conceded fairly quickly after we've scored. And obviously the start of halves, whether it's an early goal in first half or second half, that second half's definitely a problem. It's definitely some sort of mentality thing there that we really just need to get regrouped and refocused after half time. But the fact that Farke is now showing that in-game flexibility, if we do have lapses, you've got to back him at the minute to do something to change the flow and the momentum of the game. And I've never said that. And maybe I'll never say it again after Sunday. We'll have to see. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt from what I've seen this last week, that we will start getting things like this right, because that needs to change. You can't just keep conceding, in between 45 and 50 minutes. It's been brutal this season. We can't just keep gifting these goals, regardless of how good we look going forward, and the fact that I believe we'll outscore some teams now, because we do look very threatening going forward. It'd be so much easier if we just switch on, stop doing individual letters, and we can just keep the ball out of our net in those moments, especially the start of halves, because then you're giving yourself an uphill battle, like if you're always chasing game. Obviously on Brentford again, he touched on how dangerous they are. Plenty of goals. They press really well. He mentioned the press a couple of times. Really aggressive press. Wait for the triggers and press really well as a unit. Really physical and great set pieces. And obviously they're going to be great set pieces. We all laughed at Keith Andrews getting that gig. A lot of us said, I don't want to talk for everybody, but a lot of us said they would get relegated with Keith Andrews. I was one of them, guilty as charged. And we'll revisit my predictions table at some point. It'd probably be embarrassing to do it now. I can't remember what I said, but I definitely thought Brentford would go down. They recruited really well. They've got a great money ball system there, where it's all stats based and they can bring people in for next to no. A bit like we have with Tanaka, but they've done it, numerous times and built a really good squad there. And they can sell the best players and just bring new players in. And it doesn't really affect him. Keith Andrews, set piece coach. If it's one thing he knows what to get right, it's set pieces in both boxes. And it's going to be a really good battle, because I actually think, player for player, like even style for style, they say like boxing matches, styles make fights and stuff. I think this is a really even contest. I look at our midfield, I think we're probably slightly better there. They've got a man up top who's got on 11 goals. They've got some big, tall centre halves in there, decent goalkeeper. I look at them and I think this is a decent matchup for Leeds United to see really where we are, because I don't think Brentford go down now. My views on Brentford have changed. I think the home form, like Leeds United, is going to be the catalyst for them staying up. Will they get more results away from home? Yeah, probably, because they can win in London. Hopefully we can from Sunday onwards. But yeah, I think physically, a lot of 6 foot plus players. They're strong, high energy, good at pressing when they all press as a unit like Leeds United can be. And set pieces in both boxes are really good. And it's something we've seen with Leeds United now. We've improved, I think, defensively at set pieces. Can always do better. But attacking set pieces, we look a threat. Now, every time we get a corner now, I think we can score a goal. And I haven't said that for donkey's years. You may as well give him a goal kick. I say that every time. We now look threatening. We have 4, 5, 6 bodies who can score goals, whether it's NMECHA when he plays, Calvert-Lewin, Bornau when he comes on, Biol, Stroud, Rodon, Tanaka now can get in that back post. We look deadly at set pieces, and there could be a couple of set piece goals in this, maybe for both sides as well. So it's definitely a key strength that he's focused on and looked at. Gets asked as well about the PSR. Reportedly was at its max on deadline day and at the end of the window. Have you spoken about the finances and what's available for January? And he just dismissed it again. It's up to the key people. It's up to the owners. He just concentrates on the players that I have. The next 4 games, this is who and what we have to work with, and I'll focus on that. I think it's clear for everyone to see we need a few players to push us over the line. I think in terms of safety, have we got enough? You'll never know. I think the squad's decent enough to stay up, if I'm honest, but injuries can play a part, and I think having 2 or 3 ideally, but it might just be 1 or 2. But again, I think there's been talks. I think they'll have a clear plan of who and what they want. Maybe that's changed this week with a change of formation. Maybe the right winger's not needed now because we're not really using wingers if this is going to be the base formation we keep. It's going to be really interesting to see what sort of rumours start circulating from credible sources to see what sort of player we are looking at. I think a 9 is definitely being looked at. A 10 is what you'd like as well. But that right winger that we've said we need, maybe not. Do we need a backup left fullback for Goodmanson if we're going to play a 3-5-2 or a 5-3-2? That Goodmanson's got a natural left-footed cover there because it's currently Justin or Byram, and they're both right-footed. So there's a few options in there now that we may look at. It may have changed tact as well now with what we've done. Surely there's 2 6'5" monster Bundesliga strikers we can sign in Jan. Do you not like the ones we've got, Liam? There's always better out there, though, isn't there? I'd agree. Should have sold Pido. Thing for me is we should have signed a better striker who could push to start games ahead of having Pido. Yeah, no, I get that. You always want competition for places. You always want better than what you've got. And I do get that. I mean, there's an argument, Jamie, that we should have got a player in who were better than DCL and NMECHA. And we all thought we were. We all thought at one point there were Demirovic linked. There's been quite a few players linked. Mitrovic at one point who I'd have loved. It'd been nice to have an absolute monster up top and have DCL and NMECHA as sort of vying for those spots too. But yeah, I do think we're going to go for a striker. But then again, is it going to be a top name? The top names in any position are usually taken and playing minutes at this stage. Is there a few out there who can improve the squad? That's what it'll come down to. They won't spend money for money's sake. I think they'll look at it and go, we'll only bring people in if we can improve the squad, which I think there's plenty of players out there that can improve us. Let's get to 50 likes. Cheers, Chris. Hey, we've hit 50 likes. 90 people watching. If you haven't smashed a like, please do me a favour, mate, and please smash that like. Philip Armitage, J up, mate. Leeds. But Bournemouth have Keith Andrews. We can't lose to Brentford. Have Keith Andrews. Dilip, hi mate. Hope you're well, buddy. Been to Morley today, says Michael. Outside Morrison's a guy selling loads of Leeds scarves and hats off a pasting table. Only in Leeds, eh? Only Leeds. We're not. Yeah, I'd set 1 point now, Gavin, but I'm confident we can get 3. Did you get my message? I don't think I did, Dilip. I think you commented on one of my videos. I've not gone through and commented back yet. What about, am I going to the game on Sunday? If that's the message I think he said, I'm not going to the game of Brentford, mate. No, I'm not going on Sunday. I don't get to every away game, just now and again. Michael got no Matty on YouTube. If you say come on live at 2 p.m. and I came in at 2:30, YouTube would state that you'd obviously been on 30 minutes. That disappeared. Ah, right, I'm with you. Yeah, I don't know what's going on at the minute. Poppy Perkins, loving the content, bro. Now a regular. Thanks, Poppy. That's class. Thanks so much. Make sure, Poppy, I've not seen you, I don't think, commenting on the late night Leeds. 10 o'clock tonight. I know it's a bit late for some people, especially if you've caught me fruit day in the last couple of weeks, because I've done a few fruit day. 10 o'clock tonight. There's 86 people watching. We can get the majority back tonight for late night Leeds. We've got a Leeds quiz. We'll be reviewing the Liverpool game, me, AG, and Boss Nassets, and Sean Carney, Mr. Wilco White himself, I think, is on tonight too. I think it's 4 of us potentially. Previewing the Brentford game, we've got Mr. Whitesnake's poem in there. There's a poem every week to sum up the week. Got loads of bits in there, loads of graphics, loads of bits, and yeah, it'll be a good laugh tonight. So make sure you're back for 10 o'clock tonight. Any of you lovely folk. We would have Jesse the benefit of doubt after beating Liverpool and Bournemouth. Look at that turned out fast. Yeah, he's not out of the woods, Sean, but I do think it's not worth sacking him now. I do think he deserves a bit longer. And I'll get hammered for this. I will get hammered for saying that. You know, there's one or two people who comment on a lot of my videos and I get hammered for. And I've even been called a flip-flop because after Forest, I came on in and I went, I want Farke gone. I want Farke gone. Get him gone. And I think in that moment, I was bang right to say so. If we finish 17th, right now, just if we finish 17th come end of the season, I'd probably say, right, thank you very much, Daniel Farke, let's move on. You know, there's always improvement. We're talking about improving on players here. We're talking about we need to bring in a centre forward instead of DCL. Well, we're all happy with DCL right now, but it's okay to suggest we need better. So that's where I am with manager. There's always someone better out there, Sean. There's always someone who can improve and push us that next level. But right now, I've always said on this channel, when I don't feel like we'll stay up, I'll say I want a manager change. After Forest, I thought we were relegated. I thought there's no way he can turn it around because he doesn't change. I think we need to play 3-5-2. I think we need to put Tanaka a bit further forward. I think 2 up top. I think Biol needs to come in a 3. There were loads of permutations that I never envisaged happening. But because I wanted change and I thought a manager change was the only way. But the fact that the manager we already had has changed, it's like a new man in dugout this week. And that's brilliant. But yeah, there's a sliding doors moment in everything in life. Something happens and it has a reaction to something else. And when you look at the Liverpool and Bournemouth sort of stuff what you're on about, that kept Jesse Marsh in his job. Jesse Marsh, for me, never looked like he should have even been at Leeds United for me. I never really... I'm not just shout down every manager I see, to be fair. I'm not one of them. But I never really took to Jesse Marsh, if I'm honest. I don't think anyone did. And you're buzzing when you get those results. But yeah, I always felt like the end wasn't near. And to be fair, when it comes to Farke, I like him a lot more than I like Jesse Marsh. He's got a lot more credit in bank and he's done brilliant for us at Championship. But like, I don't feel like he's out of the woods yet. You bang on money there. I do feel like he's only a couple of results, poor results and performances off having this conversation again. The big stickler now is we're coming to January and you can't get to February and sack him for me. It needs to be, you know, in January, beginning of January, before January. And I actually don't think it happens now because I don't think we're going to go on a barren spell. I think we can beat Brentford, Palace, Sunderland, Liverpool, Scum. I think we can get points in these games. And that Farke's give me that belief now. So because I've now got that belief and I'm excited and rejuvenated as a fan, I'll just come on here and share that. And I think we can keep this momentum going. I really, really do. And because we've seen the big boys come to Ellen Road and get slapped up and we can score goals against them, I've always said Fortress Ellen Road needs to be a thing. That don't mean you win every game, but it means you're competitive and you can put yourself in a position to get something from every game. And we're seeing that. Tottenham could have got something in that game. Bournemouth, you know, Newcastle, we drew. There's so many good games we've had at Ellen Road. It's now for me, we've seen so much flexibility and change in Farke. All I want to see now is, can you win in London? Can you go to Brentford and stick it on them? Can we go to Brentford, which is on paper an easier game than what we've just won, but equally as difficult because it's away from home, because they're really good at home? This is the last sort of box that needs ticking for me, and it needs to be over a longer period. But this is a one question mark now. Away from home, we are poor. We've won one game all season, and I don't want to take all away from that because it was a great win. I was there at Molineux, a brilliant day. But my God, it were Wolverhampton Wanderers, and they are shite. They are so turgid. You know, my son's under sevens at Allerton Bywater to probably give Wolves first team a run for the money. They are so poor. So that's how bad we've been on the road. Haven't been able to beat Burnley. Haven't been able to beat Forest. So this is a massive game at Brentford. And we've got 3 out of his next 4 are away. You know, we've got Brentford. Obviously, we've got Liverpool as well. We've got a lot of away games coming up and we need to be competitive in these. And if we are competitive and show that fight, we can get points on road for me. We can. Boy, now looks like a bad guy from a James Bond movie. Yeah. Think we need backup for strikers. I think we get a striker, Liam. I think strikers where we go. But whether we're getting anyone better than DCL and NMECHA, which a lot of people say we need better, and I agree. But whether we do or not, I'm not too sure. Yeah, Dilip, I assume you're going, mate. But yeah, Brentford away, it's not a good weekend for me. I've got quite a bit on. And if I'm honest, I wanted to go originally. I put my feelers out. Didn't get one on ballot. I tried for one. But my mate Danny, who I go to away games with, if I do go, I think it's a smaller allocation. I had no chance. Farkin says Priestley. Hey up, Priestley. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're watching Late Night Leeds tonight. Got something in there for you later, mate. Flip flop, Matty. I shall return for tonight's show. Yeah, cheers, my mate. See you, boss. See you too, Chris. See you later on tonight, pal. Liverpool would love our management stability right now. Yeah, it's mad how times changing it. It really is. Michael says this is not just in Marsh. I wanted Farke gone after Brighton game, but the past 2 weeks have changed. And that's fine. You're allowed to change your mind. Brighton, what's saying? Brighton, I wanted him gone. Forest, I wanted him gone. You just want to see that change and flexibility and willing to change, willingness to deviate from your stubborn ways. And we've seen that. And, we've got results off back of it. And I think that's been the most frustrating thing. And a lot of people say, I've had people say, look, told you Farke was the man. But he has had to move to our way of thinking, I think anyone who were Farke out wanted earlier subs. They wanted to see a different formation because they didn't think the 4-3-3 worked. They wanted to see certain players dropped or rested on the bench, whatever, and other players given a go. They wanted to see the midfield given a bit more license to go forward. Some of them wanted to see 2 up top, how we'd fare with someone just off DCL. And Farke gets applauded because he's changed it, but ultimately he's gone to the sort of way that the majority wanted him to go. So it's a bit of both. Credit Farke for change, but also, I don't think anyone needs to be cashing no receipts either because it's changed to the way of thinking that the bulk of the fan base thought were the way forward. So we're all a little bit right, really, aren't we? We're all a little bit right. We'll have it. We'll leave it at that. He spoke about Ao Tanaka as well. Mentioned about it's not just about his goals, but his performances have been really good. Managed his minutes this week with obviously 3 games in 7 days. He's a brave player, and I love that about him, but always room to improve. He's a very important player for us. I love that Tanaka. I think Tanaka has had the week of his life, and at the absolute week of his life, he's been absolutely brilliant. Unlucky not to start against Liverpool, comes on and does his stuff, and that's been probably my favourite part about the system change and the mentality change in Leeds last week. Was, you've got wing backs, you've got an extra centre half, you've got an extra forward, all that's fine and have massive impacts to the result and the performances. But I'm loving all of a sudden the freedom for midfield to get forward. And we're still leaking goals, we're still conceding, that's fine. But look at that now, Stacks on a couple of goals and, a few assists. Tanaka's got a couple of goals and some assists. All of a sudden now, going back to last season, we weren't scoring many goals from midfield. The season before, Gruev scored one against Norwich in semi-final at playoffs to get us to Wembley. It's not something we've seen under Farke. It's wingers cut back goal. There's been no box crashing midfielders. We haven't looked lethal from that position. All of a sudden, Ao Tanaka has been let off the leash. Stack has been let off the leash, and we are seeing better football for it. For me, better football for it. And when you've got fullbacks who can, get down the flanks and cross, you've got midfielders who can score, you've got centre halves now who can all score from set pieces, a couple of strikers who were free transfers on 4 apiece. We now look threatening everywhere, and that's massive. That's massive for us. Massive. Hey up, John. Hope you're good, mate. Hope you're good. I'm just going to get through last few bits and then I'm going to call it a day because I am on the school run today. Matty, a poll for what we want in Jan. And number 9, 10, right winger. People shout in the chat for me. I tell you what, Michael, I'll do a poll on Late Night Leeds tonight. If you come back, I'll do a poll. A 9, a 10, defender. I think we need fullback cover too, but I'll put a poll in tonight. If I probably forget I've said that, but I'll try. Works Christmas do tonight, so I might be around for it. Good stuff. Striker and a backup wing backs for me. I think backup wing backs are massive. Do you reckon Farke's January with the 4 points from 2 games? He doesn't have January now, John. I think he's got to get some in these next 3. I think he's got to get some in these next 3. And I think if me and Priest spoke about it last week, I think if you win 1 in every 3 games, that'll keep him ticking along. I think you don't want to lose 2 and obviously win 1. You don't want, performances will matter. The way the side looks, the way he sets up, and you don't want him slipping back to his old ways where he thinks one system fits all and the subs at 70 minutes is a way forward. I do think if he continues where he's been, showing change, showing willingness to move away from that stubborn ways at times, he will remain in the job. And I sort of look at it now, the next few games up to January, John, I think we get 3 or 4, maybe more. There's an opportunity here to get something in our next 3, which takes him into January. And rightfully so. But yeah, these 3 games before January comes, mate. So we'll have to see how we fare. But yeah, notes guaranteed. Football, look what's happened in a week at Leeds United. Football can change so quickly. If Farke won us the treble, there would still be people who would never. Yeah, of course there is. Of course there is. It could be bloody Champions League. There'll be people still not giving credit. I know I get some comments of some people who honestly don't matter what he does, but I'm very much just how I feel in that moment. Yeah. Tanaka played Leeds do well. Farke has no clue. Useless, says Alan Allen. Tanaka needs to be, right now, is the first name on the team sheet for me. I think last season we dropped the ball a little bit with Tanaka. He could have played in the 10 for me, and I think he'd have been right up there for goals and assists. I think he's that good. But yeah, Farke doesn't agree with a lot of positional stuff that I sort of think, but he knows more than me, I guess. But I do think Tanaka can play as an advanced 8/10. I think he's so super talented. If we can't change our away form, we basically have 11 games to get 25 points. Yeah, to be fair, if we can't change his away form, Ernie, we're going to have to get those points at home, aren't we? But yeah, I don't think we're too far away from an away win, and I think it could come Sunday. Cheers, Sean. Cheers, buddy. 2-1 Leeds, late penalty again. Oof. I'll take that, mate. Hello, everyone. Hey up, Stevie. Matty, not seeing the presser. What's the main headlines? NMECHA's out, mate. That's pretty much it. Lucas NMECHA's out. Didn't really give no else away, mate. Pressers for me are all about the injuries, the fitness concerns of players. We know Longstaff's out, James is out. The only other one's NMECHA. He will definitely not be playing, mate. Cheers, Stevie. Thank you, mate. Yeah, smash a like on the video, please. Off for my lungs. Off for my lungs lowering. I'm like, it's a bit of a bad one, that. Off for my lugs lowering. Thanks for the live, Matty. Come on, Leeds. Cheers, Andy. Take care, buddy. Have a great weekend. 4 points in 3 games is great with me. Robert, yeah, that's got to be bare minimum, I think. Stevie, thanks so much for dropping in, mate, but I'm calling it a day. I've got to go pick the little ones up. Don't normally do live through the day, but please, everybody watching now, please smash a like on the video. Really appreciate you dropping in. And if you're new, please subscribe and come back for Late Night Leeds tonight at 10 o'clock. I will be putting in a couple of hours. It'll be up on my page showing that it's coming tonight at 10. But yeah, Late Night Leeds will be a good one tonight. It's usually plenty of people in, and if you've not seen Late Night Leeds before, it'll be something you've not seen before. It's a bit of a different show than what you normally see on here. Try to say that in Potwell, Matty. Honestly, I'm going for my lungs lowering. I thought that sounds like some serious thing that isn't just the case. I'm nipping to get my lungs lowered. Yeah. Sorry about that, mate. Enjoy the haircut. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Main headline is Lucas NMECHA is out of the squad. Bit of a bad one. Do we revert back to a 4-3-3? Do we stay as a 3-5-2? We shall see. But tune in tonight for Late Night Leeds. I'll be here, Matty. Go get your kids' ball. Cheers, Stevie. Thanks, everyone. Take care, everyone. Please smash a like on your way out. Please subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.